Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Chill Sunday stream. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's well. We are back with some more Jusant, ready to climb the tower with this gripping edge of the seat gameplay. Reminder to switch over from top chat to live chat. Give people a few minutes to make their way in before we start our climb. Hello and welcome, merchants. Hope you're having a chill, lovely Sunday. I am indeed doing well. Just gonna give people a little more time to make their way in, and then we can get started. Get that full screen. Go. Hello and welcome, Jaguar. Hope you're having a chill and lovely Sunday. Always glad to see the kitty in a box. We are back on the beautiful climb up this mountainside, hopefully to find out more about the Tower of the Flood. We just started chapter 3, and we took this zip line down after getting 2 collectibles, and now we're going to keep pressing forward. Try to figure out some more of the lore of this land. I gotta figure out how to control this again. Oh boy. So I didn't detach from the initial group and attach this one. Yeah, I mentioned that last stream that it kind of reminded me of Breath of the Wild. You know, I'm also not the biggest fan of Breath of the Wild. Like, unpopular opinion, I know, but the climbing mechanic in that game was a lot of fun. It was the items breaking for me too, merchants. Everything broke like it was made of, like, cardboard. And I wanted so very badly to like it. I never got up to the Master Sword, so I couldn't tell you. Is moving really the solution? It makes no sense to be leaving the tower. Like the drought's gonna fix itself while we're gone, leaving our parents' fields empty to crowd round a watering hole right in the middle of the Great Plain? What then? When your oasis dries up, where will we go then? I don't think this is how we're going to solve the problem. There are other options if you ask me. What about what do they say about ballasts? They've carved into the walls wherever you look. Gab's even seen some in the old paintings. There's talk of them here. That's for sure. Plenty of folks even say ballasts are the ones who stole our water. We should make sure of that, shouldn't we? We should go up to them clouds and find out. It might be a solution up in those parts. Might not be, but there sure ain't none down on your plane, that's all I'm saying. Come on, Arlo, you can't be serious. Cloud giants, really? Those are nothing but a bunch of tall tales. Common sense tells you to go with the flow, and the flow is going downward. We've been assigned a spring. Yes, it's in the middle of the plain, but it's our last hope, our future. It would be nice if you there folks could see that. Merchant says, I can't wait to legally purchase a Nintendo trademark Switch 2 and the newest Legend of Zelda game at full price. You could not. You could not get me to do that. Jaguar asks, could this be some sort of coming of age story / game? Seems like the character's young, so they're exploring the world like us too. I mean, I'm wondering if the character is coming back home. Like, maybe the Oasis ran out and they're just desperately searching for an alternative. We're also seeing a conflict between two factions, kind of trying to figure out the best way to deal with this climate disaster. And not fully understanding its cause or how to fix it. We did it. I'm completely wrung out, but we made it in time for Joe to join the expedition. There weren't many of us there, barely a handful. Look how peaky the poor thing is. She's shaking like a sewing machine. I felt so far from home, but the tone was more encouraging than mocking. My efforts had been acknowledged and appreciated. I was too out of breath to reply, but a new emotion rose up inside me. I was proud to have made it this far. Still doubled over from the exertion, I looked around with the others. Everyone there had left everything behind to be there. They had a fire in their eyes, a desire to change things, and I was part of it. That's all it took to fill me with fresh energy. Arlo and Becca welcomed us to their sun-scorched farm with open arms, and they were emotional and the mood was solemn. They're the last farmers left in these parts, and they're the ones who put together this expedition. They've spent their entire lives trying and failing to fight the drought. Nothing grows on the cliffs anymore. In their own funny-sounding words, not one measly plant grows in these here fields no more. I hope I'm not reproducing the Highfield dialect too badly. Then Becca told us about their wild scheme, setting off for the clouds to find water in the sky. At her words, a murmur rose from the group. There was talk of how feasible this plan was, how best to go about it, which routes to take, and which sections to avoid. Arlo and Becca want to find ballasts, as they're called lower down, enormous creatures made of water that are said to live in the clouds. Ballasts only exist in sleep stories for children. Well, that's what I always thought before embarking on this adventure. They're Arlo and Becca's last hope, and I'm starting to believe in them too. We may have a chance to save the tower. It's up to us to seize it. Yeah, there's no way, merchants, that I would be spending $90 on a video game. Like, that's not happening. The Switch 2 is just not accessible. Console gaming was supposed to be the cheaper option. You know? You were supposed to be able to get a console with the guarantee that every game was going to work. And it was supposed to be cheaper than a PC. And right now, when you look at the price of a low-end gaming computer, it's not... Oh. It's not that different from the price of a console. And yeah, it might make a difference for some people, but you also have to consider the game's cost. If you're talking about $90 for a brand new game, Nintendo games tend to retain their value in the market. Like, old school Pokemon games are still $40 and $50 each. And, even, like, Nintendo 64 games are still expensive. Like, if you go back that far to buy them used. So, I feel like if you're gonna go the route of gaming, PC is the obvious solution at this point. Just in terms of the cost factor. Game, please understand my inputs. Thank you. I'm gonna put an anchor point here. Lower down the road. Yeah, I think Jaguar was onto something with the journey that we're supposed to be taking here. I think there's definitely a journey of self-exploration, but also A journey of trying to survive in a climate damaged world. I think you've got both realities going on here. Like, can we fix it? If we do, what do we do to fix it? Merchant says agreed, and it's still possible to enjoy a PC without having the latest and greatest hardware. I mean, if you want to be honest, like, if you want my honest opinion on it, if you really want a console experience at this point, I think, call me biased all you want, I think the Steam Deck is the better option. Getting access to the entire Steam library, getting access to a bunch of indie games that are doing what Nintendo, you know, is supposed to be doing better than Nintendo. Would have expected there to be something up here. Items over there. Merchant says, I really wish there was more emphasis on the fact that climate change is going to impact the global south far harder than most Western nations, and not just because of proximity to oceans. I mean, this has been the common reality for the entire history of capitalism. The global south, I'm going to pause for a minute to speak on this. The global south has bore the brunt of every single negative component of capitalism. And the Western world has more or less had a lot of a shield in front of itself for all of the negatives of capitalism. Not that, everyday people haven't experienced poverty or experienced having to give up paycheck to a landlord or anything like that. But for most of the history of capitalism, the global south has had to bear the brunt of it having its resources extracted, its people um it's people forced into labor one way or the other, whether that be through, slavery or through wage labor. And this climate crisis is just the latest component of that. I don't think it's a coincidence that there are people in the United States seeing the writing on the wall that a lot of the global south is about to hit a shit ton of climate disasters. And this new brand of fascism that has taken over, um, whether it ends up being Trump as the forefront of it or somebody else takes the mantle after Trump. But this new brand of fascism and white supremacy, I think, is rooted in the understanding that people from the global south are going to start having to flee in mass as climate crisis starts to get worse. And if you start preparing the possibility of denying refugees now, it ends up being easier for them in the long run. They are preparing for the fact that there are going to be refugees knocking at the door from the damage that they ultimately did, the billionaires ultimately did and caused. And they are going to be slamming those doors in people's faces. I am still waiting for the news story where an entire town gets wiped out in a single day because of intense heat, where they hit that heat bubble where it's gonna, be so hot and so humid that there's no room for anything else. Like people are just gonna drop. I'm waiting for that news story. That's what I'm saying, merchants. Like colonialism is a product of capitalism. Um, the neo-colonialism especially. But like in colonialism ended up developing into capitalism in a lot of ways. Resource extraction through colonial and mercantile systems led to wealth acquisition that led to nobility turning into the capitalist class. To me, it's all rooted in the same understanding. And as much as Western history likes to differentiate the nobles from the oligarchs, sorry, the nobles from the money earning class, um, and the big business moguls that kind of formed after the French Revolution. They're not really different. They're the same family lines for the most part, with few exceptions. There are through lines, especially in Europe, from the old money, the old nobility to the moneyed class. Merchant says it takes willful ignorance to refute this, and that's why I get so annoyed when privileged people with all kinds of access to education still pretend there's no connectivity. There's a very big difference between somebody who is a first generation college graduate who, whose family grew up in relatively poor means and somebody who knew college was on the table from the day they were born back, when we were growing up, merchants. That class distinction was very real. And to me, as that first generation that went to college, um, and someone who had parents who didn't get the opportunities to do so. It was very interesting meeting people who were career professionals, whose parents were career professionals, and they came in with all these advantages and knowing exactly how the college system worked and knowing exactly how to navigate things. And I was sitting there like, I don't even understand like where I should apply or what I should do or how I should do this or what majors there are. I had to learn all that on the fly basically. Like there was very little guidance outside of what little school counselor could provide me. And in a college, like you've got school counselors that are helpful, and in high school, like there were counselors, but it's not the same as having that private one-on-one time with parents or an uncle who could sit down with you and tell you exactly how to go through the process. Merchant says, and all the while they'll pretend they don't have this massive advantage either because they're feigning ignorance or they're just so genuinely out of touch that they don't realize it. Not everyone has those advantages. I mean, yeah, you're absolutely correct to point that out. I really feel like there should be a thing here that I'm missing. Like my gut is telling me there's a secret I'm missing somewhere. I'm just hoping I'm wrong. Well, I'm not exactly at the point of no return, so I can press forward and... That's a fresco. It looks like they're blowing a conch shell to summon the rain. Merchant says that's something I found very confusing growing up and navigating through those challenges and wondering half the time why some people just breeze through those challenges. Right? Like, people who had tutors or parents to teach them how to note take for school. Like, I don't think a lot of people think about how much of an advantage that really is. Just something as basic as that. I really still feel like I'm missing something, and I'm tempted to go back. Hello and welcome, King Cyrus. Hope you're having a chill and lovely Sunday. Glad you could join. I'm gonna just follow up with chat. I'm sorry. I was just checking something super quick. Cyrus says that's the thing with many people in the global north don't understand is how much they rely on the global south to survive, period. Every raw material on earth is found in the south. So real. I didn't even know how effectively study until my second year in university, says Merchants. And prior to that, I struggled so much in high school and my first year of university. King Cyrus says, I agree, note taking is an advantage. Most folks had to figure that shit out on my own. Doing alright? Well, if I can say alright. Just finished watching The Substance, and oh my goodness, what a film. Shit disturbed me to hell. Yeah, that is a hell of a film. It's one that I very much recommend. Anybody who doesn't understand the experience that particularly women go through in terms of the expectations of one's body. I'm actually just very quickly checking a guide to see if I'm actually missing something here or not. Normally I don't like to do that. I have this gut feeling that I'm missing something, and I just want to be sure, because I don't know how much I'll be able to go back. Looks good up to this point. Yep, I am missing something. My gut was right. Alright, I'm glad I did that. Uh, Jaguar says that film is basically what women live through every day: body image and the pressure to be young and beautiful, and the true horror. King Cyrus says the sexual objectification in that film was just disturbing, like the dance workout scene was like WTF. Jaguar says patriarchal standards are horrific. Yeah, and the fact is that, like, when it comes to being recognized as a woman in society, you're constantly replaceable by the new model because you're not seen for your personhood and your contributions and everything else that you offer as a person. You're seen as your sexual viability, your physical form, And a body can be replaced if that's all somebody cares about for you. Jaguar, I had the same thing happen to me. It was a bunch of guys, right? Laughing. Closed permanently or until the sun decides to start again. Okay. I found what I was missing. I had to climb down. That was not very obvious. Jaguar says dudes mostly, and then one or two women who were into the patriarchy with their boys or boyfriends. I didn't have that. I didn't have that side of it happen, but that doesn't surprise me. I'm assuming they were laughing to fit in more than they found it actually funny. Or they weren't actually thinking about what the movie was saying. King Sarah says, and when her body was freaking out in the camera, dudes were like, we saw something bizarre, and they literally making everyone look at slow-mo shot of her ass, like, what the fuck. Yeah, well, that's unfortunately how some people will view things like that. That's that, you know, quote-unquote male gaze that we hear so much about. I'm actually really glad I checked that guide. I would have been really annoyed to miss that one item, and I just could not for the life of me figure out where I had to go for it. But you kind of get that feeling, I guess, as a gamer also, where it's like, I know I'm missing something. Even if you can't find it right away. Jaguar says the scene at the end was so heart-wrenching. It was scary and sad. It literally broke me. Ironically, it was beautifully made with the visual metaphor. Yeah. Yeah. Jaguar says, and people laughed at that too, and I was like, what the heck? How did you miss the point? The only type of laughter one should have in that scene is like that nervous laughter. Like that I could see. But if you're talking about laughter because you think it's funny, I feel like I want to rappel down there, but I need to latch onto something. It was the ha do bro laughing laugh. How do we all know what that laugh is? How do we all know what that laugh is without actually hearing it or saying it or doing it or having the common experience? Jaguar's spelling description was hilariously accurate. Yes, because that's exactly what it sounds like. And it comes from a very specific type of guy. I don't hear that coming from just any guy. It's always that very specific type of guy that's like, like, and it's like, what? It's like this weird emphasis on that, where it is as opposed to like like, I don't know, it doesn't come across natural to me. Like, it's almost more her than... He has a stupid baseball cap first. We all know the same guy. He's either got, like, that really, really awful short haircut, or he's got the baseball cap reversed. He's got that really baggy, like, style jeans. Probably with a white t-shirt. Glad to know you all know him too. Been a sports team fan the whole way through, bro. Or, yeah, sometimes they'll wear the sports jersey. Do I want to go on the outside here, or do I want to go inside? He's everywhere. Looking like... Oh no, I can latch on here. I want to climb inside. You know what? Let's try going inside. Are those rocks moving? Those aren't rocks. I am hanging on to things that are not rocks. Logbook 12, octaves and 1/5 after the just... There are so many people climbing down from the heights. I feel like a fish swimming upstream like in those stories. Before the Jusant, we rose and fell with the tides. I remember hearing the old schooners describe enormous waves, ones that drove people upward, and with each high tide. They'd never seen the ocean themselves. They were just repeating what they'd heard from their elders when they themselves were young. But there must have been a grain of truth to those stories, right? The ocean nourished the cliffs, and in return the cliffs nourished the entire tower. Anyway, the inhabitants of Low Tide set enough store in them to set off in search of the ocean. I wavered too. Should we try to hook the lost water? In a way, yes, but not going with the flow? I have to answer now, thanks to Arlo and Becca. We need to go back to the source. We shared. Oh, I have the answer now, thanks to Arlo and Becca. We need to go back to the source. We shared our shady spot with a man named Zoe. He was on his way down to the plane and tried to convince us to go down with him. Why stay? He didn't understand why we wouldn't go. You won't get nothing out of these fields no more. The earth ain't worth a blessed thing. He grabbed a fistful of dust and held it up as proof. Zoe continued on his way while we prolonged our break, dreading having to go back out to the blazing sun. I refused to believe him. Ever since we set off, I feel like I'm rediscovering the tower, like I've never truly looked at it or listened to it before. My perspectives were changing the higher up we go. I'm sure we're on the right track. Bianca. King Cyrus says acting was great. Demi Moore was made for that part. I almost saw the film as a horror take on her career as an actress. Yeah. Merchant says apparently the actor that played the younger new person had to get drunk and smoke a bunch of weed to do the dancing scenes. Not sure how that makes me feel, as Hollywood is so exploitative. I mean, was it that they had to do that because they couldn't bring themselves to do the scene? Like, because those scenes emphasized a certain point, and I'm kind of wondering, was it like, I have to suck it up and, like, just do it, and I can't bring myself to because, I'm literally subjecting myself to something very obviously messed up? Or was it more... like, what was the reasoning behind that? They had to do that. Jaguar says, OMG Cyrus, yep, and they complaining about these, quote, females. I'll never say that not like a Ferengi. These females are always gossiping, but my dude, you're doing more gossiping. The women are working and taking care of the kids. Merchant says, yep, especially about the gossiping. Jaguar says, oh wow, didn't know that about the younger actor. Merchant, thanks for the intro. Does she say why? Cyrus says, these dudes literally be the guys I know now to be coming into the shop like, yo, and any y'all got change after they giving the barber 100 for a cut. Like, bro, what? Merchant says apparently she was very anxious about doing the scene, which makes sense given that scene in the context. Yeah, I could see that. Like, you're literally manifesting the anxiety that you kind of experience all the time in that type of circumstance. But you're, like, calling full attention to it. So... she had a big role and a lot of weird spotlight was on her character. Yeah, because her character was the embodiment of a concept, as opposed to just being her playing a role. To the person who left a caramel bun in the canteen, I ate it. Sorry, not sorry. There's no one around anymore anyway, Cass. Sato, what's new? Any work for us? Orders are drying up and business at the rope works is far too slow for my liking. I'm starting to get bored. I've brushed up on all my nuts and I've done the accounting. I've been putting off for cycles and I've dusted all the machines. But now we're stuck twiddling our thumbs. We're not very good at doing nothing. Glad to know there's still someone left on the tower. thought I went with the flow, just like everyone else. I don't really see what they're expecting to find in the desert. It's not like the sun's going to budge any more there than it does here. No need for new ropes, but you're welcome to come by whenever you like. You'll soon get used to doing nothing. You'll see. It suits us anyway. We have more time for each other. Cass. Cass is relatable. I mean, it's not like anybody else was coming for it, so good on Cass. Glad somebody ate it. Did somebody bunker in place here? Relic Gazette, issue 21, 7 octaves and 3/6 after the Jusant. Editorial. Brown or black fur, big ears, prone to both nervousness and laziness. There's nothing more common than a Choco. Too dull and unremarkable for a special issue, right? Wrong. In this issue of the Gazette, we'll do our best to make the ordinary extraordinary, starting with the most unobtrusive of beings, Chocos. These mammals are useful to us bipeds in 2 key ways. They lay eggs and line their nests with fur, providing delicious meals and dense balls of wool. Not the other way around. Raising them is no easy task, however, Chacos are escape artists. Through our action, or rather inaction, they've taken to nesting all over the tower, though they're native to the Highfield region. Did you know Chacos work together to incubate their sparkling eggs and watch over their young? Some would argue that taking turns makes for better naps, but take a closer look at what's in their nests, you may be in for a surprise. Chacos love to sit on anything that shines. Keep reading for more fun facts about Chacos and their habits. Jaguar. Did you write this? Fun facts from Jaguar? Those were your fun facts for this week. True. True. Well, they're always appreciated. Alright, what's the best path down? I mean... Oh, wow, I did not even see that. There's a secret up there and up there. Doesn't look like there's one down below. Okay, now what? I guess we're trying to make our way over there? Question mark? Or are we trying to get... Could we go up here? I feel like that tree is where we gotta go. Just a matter of how to get up. I guess we can start climbing here. Well, let's retry that. Reach up. Go around this way. And disconnect. Cyrus says also the younger self is tall too, which I found interesting in contrast to Demi Moore's character. Yeah, I was kind of happy because I was like, yes, more tall women. Tall women scared Hollywood, of course. Bagor says, I didn't even think about that. Yeah, I didn't think about that either, TBH. I think I have to get higher and then... Looks like I can zip over there, maybe rappel down. So I don't think we're going this way. Then again, maybe we are. Actually, I could maybe swing around and grab that ladder. Or grab the windmill. I'm not sure what it wants from me at the moment. I mean, it obviously wants me to grab onto that, but I don't know. It want me to try to latch onto that? Or to this windmill? I could swing myself into this wall. Oh, I can wing into the wall. But those are gonna fade quick with the sun. So I have to, like... might have to lower my arc. Go, 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 go. Get up here. I have to hook onto something. Come on, make it, make it, make it. Ooh, caught it just in time. I'm just giving myself a second. I'm actually gonna... try to do something quick. I'm gonna go back a little bit. Because I just realized that might be a good spot to get something achievement-wise. I'm gonna make an anchor point here. I'm gonna lower down. Got it. Okay, there is an achievement to get 25 of these little guys in one go. Frozen. So I just wanted to grab that because there were a whole bunch of them there. And now I didn't even have to give up progress. I'm assuming the game wants me to swing to that and grab on. Maybe. Shit. Okay, and come on. And swing. And swing. Got it. Do I have to get up there? Is that where I'm trying to get to? Oh, nice. That allows me to get up there a little easier. Why does my little dude not detect this letter here? Is it because I'm this close to it? Listen to your heart and follow your instincts. That's all I can tell you. Go if you must. I won't be going with you. My roots are here. I'm an old man. All I want is to stay on my land at peace with the world around me. Farewell. I wish you all the best. I'll go to the old tree for as long as I can, and I'll cherish your memory as my most prized possession. I'll be sad, but knowing you're out there somewhere will comfort me, a tiny plant growing in the desert. Oh, Grandpa, I'm gonna be sad too. I already am. Mama says we'll come back when the sun wills it, but I don't believe it. The sun doesn't will it. Because if it did, we wouldn't be suffering. Everything in the house, stuffing everything in the house into flour sacks. I heard the water in the desert steams and is stinky. That's what Tommy says. She's already been there to make sure there was room for her animals, and she's going back with us. Unky says, if you change your mind, you know where to find us. He doesn't want to write you. He says you made Mama mad, and that I shouldn't be writing this. I love you and I don't want to go, but I'm going. So bye, Grandpa. Ez. All right, let me catch up on chat quick. Oh wow, y'all are having a whole conversation. Let me grab some tea while I read. Cyrus says, I already know if they did a guy version of the substance, folks would freak the F out. And I can already see dudes losing it. God forbid men actually tackle insecurities. Look how they freaked out about adolescence. That would, you bring up a good point, but that would also be such a different film than what we watched. There would probably be a lot of homophobia. There would probably be a lot more, like you said, of that insecurity of showing fragility and weakness. Like you would be addressing toxic masculinity and the traits that come with it. It definitely would be a different reflection of self. Jaguar says, I didn't watch it and don't know much about the series. Reading about it now, I can see why some people would freak out about it. But come on, we need to talk about these things. They just want to run away from real stuff. Cyrus says, well, that's the thing. They don't want to face they don't want to face that men have insecurities. Jaguar says, sarcastically, real men don't have insecurities. Don't even say that. King Cyrus says, one of my favorite parts of The Sopranos was Vito being gay being a whole issue, and you can tell Tony was like, why do you give a shit? The funniest was when Carlo is freaking out about Vito being gay, and Pat is like, well, who cares? And they're all like, what? How dare you not accept or freak out for Vito being gay? I've not watched The Sopranos, so I'm gonna take your word for that. But yeah, like that touches on that homophobia I just mentioned. Jaguar says, but him not being a milkman objectifying women makes me question my own manliness and my insecurities can't be shown, or oh no. Cyrus says, I sound like Frank Miller's writing every single make a male character in his comics are yelling. He'd be like, you do not understand the gravity of the situation, and you must know that I am sick of your depravity. I read The Dark Knight Returns, and Sin City shit is just not good at all. I personally think TDKR is an overrated book. Jaguar says, I can hear that as I read that. The fact that I went into the voice that I did Yeah, we know what's being said. King Cyrus the Great says, Sin City wants to come and commit seppuku while reading it. I read it in college and was like, bruh, the fuck is this? I do not care about your male characters having psychotic soliloquies. But, Gangle says, it's not a one-to-one gender reversal of the substance, but Seconds 1966 has similar themes from a male perspective. Honestly, seeing a male version of it that tackled that dude bro insecurity would actively be a good thing in my opinion. And I you know, I hesitate to want, like, I would hesitate to watch that because it's very, very easy for that type of thing about insecurity to start slipping into misogynistic rhetoric and language. But I very much would love it if they managed to actually hit it and cover that kind of toxic masculinity in a film. Where the hell? Oh, hello. Me want that. I don't know if that's how the game... Did the game literally give me 2 ways to get here? I suppose I could have rappelled down to that. So that's pretty neat. They gave me a couple of ways to get there. And also kind of push you towards that letter if you missed it somehow. Cyrus says, also, to be honest, if they did that, it would probably more than likely focus on sports. Also, hello and welcome, Gangle. Hope you're having a chill, lovely Sunday. Here's IMDb's summary of Seconds. An unhappy middle-aged banker agrees to a procedure that will fake his death and give him a completely new look and identity, one that comes with its own price. Interesting. Because you also get that whole side of things with the insecurities where a lot of guys project their own insecurities onto the women around them. And, like, I don't know how the film would handle that in a way that addressed, like, this hypothetical version of the substance for men, basically. Like, I don't know how the film would tackle that without making it look overtly misogynistic. Like, you'd probably have to have, like, a pan from what's going on in the dude's head versus what's going on in reality. How would they handle the topic without the violence? I think you'd need the violence. The self-inflicted violence and the fear of repercussions. I feel like the best way to do it would be to have it go through flashes of the insecurity, where you go through a scene where their worst nightmare is happening, and you're seeing it through their insecure lens, and have it even be like a split frame, where you have one side being what's happening in reality, and the other side being, like, their vision through their head. To kind of project that insecurity into the reality. I don't know if split screen or one after the other would be better, but how do I want to do this? Do I want to go there? Is it worth going back that way? Am I trying? I feel like I am trying to get to the top of that tower eventually. I feel like the best way is going to be to go above and across, maybe? I'm not sure. Let's try this one. Is there a way? Right, this elevator up. Okay, I somehow glitched and went right back down. Ira says, I would do it. If I did it, I would focus on an older black man who was a football star, and now he's being forced to retire when it's found out he can't play football. Have it to where you have a white NFL owner. Gangle says, I think it could be done, and I would love to see this movie. Jaguar says, I'm just saying it might not be a film I'd watch because the violence towards women that insecure men inflict on women. I mean, yeah. There is that. You know, and it's not really a film that everyone would need to see, as it were. It looks like there's a thing happening over there. Does anybody see that alcove up there? I kind of want to go to that. Place a thing for rest. No! Yeah, I do not have the grip for this at the moment. I want to get up there. I need to get to that. You know, I might be able to wall run that. Big pendulum swing. Big pendulum swing. I don't think that's gonna help me. I may have to just rappel back down and start over. Come on, keep it going. That's helpful. Yep. Securely reattached. Nice. Come on. I almost made it up to the little alcove. Ooh, yes. Secret. Hello and welcome, Il. Il was napping. Hope you're having a chill and lovely Sunday. Also, Il asks, is it Earl Grey? Today it is Earl Grey. Probably the second last of my Earl Grey. My old Earl Grey that I don't really drink much of anymore. I mean, eventually, it was gonna happen. Also, this is a really pretty scene. Let me scroll up in chat while this is happening. Sarah says it would be effed up, but have a white NFL owner talking about how they need a new star and treating these black men as expendable. you can tackle, of course, toxic masculinity and also angle for a different view of male objectification in terms of black male bodies for entertainment and sports. That'd be a great movie on its own right. The reason why he takes the substance makes sense and is much more effed up because all he did with his career was want to play professional football. So he takes the substance in order to get his career back and to heal his injuries or whatever. Boom, doctor tells him, sir, you have brain damage. I had that point of view because the patriarchy affects men of color in different ways, and I want to explore that. Yeah, that's a really good film idea. You could really play on this idea for a lot of different insecurities. Alright, well, we got there. Might be calling it a break pretty soon. I'm wondering if I should do it now, or should I try to get to a more stable platform first? I think I want to get a little more stable. Get past this area a little bit, and then we can do it. Question is, where is more stable than here right now? Does it want me to go up further, or does it want me to go over? Where does this game want me to go right? You know what? Let's just call it a break here. And then when we come back, we will figure out where we're headed. I'll see y'all in a few. Alright, everybody. We are back. Hope everybody had a good break. Hope everybody got some water, took care of themselves, did the thing, whatever you needed to do. Now we're going to figure out where we go. Here. I'm guessing we have to get above on top of on our top of this cliff face. That would make the most sense to me. Here we go. Logbook 12 octaves and 2/3 after the Jusant. Warning, this journal entry will definitely be too long, but I have so much to say. I got to see Emmy again. I'm so glad I got to drop the anchor at her hut. We made up for lost time in the blink of an eye. I almost capsized when I heard her laugh again. I'd missed it that much. She started by grumbling about something before shrugging and changing the subject, just like old times. I found myself chattering endlessly. The words flooded me. I told her everything from my parents getting ready to pack up and go to our theories about water in the clouds. Everything got all jumbled, and I could tell my chatter made no sense. But she nodded as though she had never heard anything more profound. It was about then that I realized the whole team was gawking at us with round, fresh eyes. Oops, how long had I been standing there talking to Emmy right in front of them? I hadn't even set my pack down yet. It was so awkward. Emmy gave me a frown and barked orders at the assembled group. There was hardtack to prepare for everyone at the hut and mattresses to air out. Plus the wind had blown into the corners. Everyone sprang up and got to work without another word. Emmy's one tough cookie, that's for sure. Plus, she was armed with a wooden spoon that she was brandishing wildly. A pot was soon set to the heat in the sun, while Sol swept the floor and Arlo scraped the plates. Emmy gave me a wink, and I laughed harder than I had in ages. Later on, with our stomachs full and feet bandaged, Emmy told us stories she heard from travelers who stopped by her hut. One of them grabbed my attention. The legend of the Piper, a musician of old. He was said to travel from region to region with his flute to make it rain. I'd never heard tell of it back home, but Arlo and Becca had. Where they're from, they say he'd celebrate the rain's arrival rather than making it rain. When comes the water, dances the piper. I'm writing to keep my hands occupied, but I can't settle down, as though staying busy will delay our departure. I've already rewound all my rope and checked on my pack. I brought way too many things aboard. Um, and in this heat, besides, maybe I don't need these 3 teapots or my favorite flower pots after all. I couldn't just leave them behind, but I know I can't go on like this. I'm entrusting them to you, Emmy. I hope they bring you as much comfort as they brought me. I hope to see you again one day. I'm your crewmate always, Bianca. I too would have problems leaving my teapot behind. Jaguar says, community question, has anyone ever been rock climbing? And how was it, or would you ever go rock climbing, and why? Jaguar says, nope and nope, because it seems dangerous. I didn't trust the equipment enough to hold me up. I'll stick to walking. I'll hike if I want something more extreme. I would probably do it, but I would definitely need some reassurances of that equipment. Because you're literally putting your life in the hands of a piece of equipment. Rock climbing indoors actually sounds like a lot of fun. That is definitely a point of no return. So I should really make sure there's no other secrets around. Gangle says, I have never been outdoorsy. I'm gonna retreat in a second. Oh my goodness. That got way more momentum than I was intending. I want to. What is that structure over there? That, like, obelisk-looking thing? It's a shame we never got the opportunity to see it closer up. I hope there's nothing over there. Blue dude doesn't seem to think there's anything over there. also... Oh, here's hoping we didn't miss anything. Could also stay attached to that for a little bit. Or not. That is kind of rope limit. Actually, if I untether, I should be able to reattach there. Yeah. I need to get back. Not as much of a point of no return as I thought. We know each other. Our parents know each other. I see your suffering. We're doing the best to divide the little water we have left here between us. The largest farms have been given priority. They use the most water since they feed the most people. I agree with what you say about needing to change the way we do things. We can't go on like this. It's not sustainable for you. You don't stand a chance compared to the big guys. We should convince them to share, pool our resources. Do you think that's possible? I'm not sending you water, but I am sending you courage. Yo. I haven't even bothered planting anything. What's the use? It breaks my heart to see the crops dying on the vine one by one and being powerless to stop it. I fought the sun long enough. I'd rather quit now than break my back for nothing. I don't know what I'm going to do. Leave the farm properly. Finally pay a visit, maybe? Is the little one already climbing? To think I still haven't met her yet. Maybe throwing in the towel isn't such a bad thing after all. Oh no, I'm sorry. What an awful situation you're in. But yes, come for a visit. We'll gladly make room. The little one just started preschool. Can you believe it? She's growing so fast. She's incredible, you'll see. With each passing sleep, she learns something new. When I'm with her, I feel like I'm rediscovering the world around me. She gives me hope again. I should warn you, though, she can be a handful. Il says it was fun and safe, kind of scary, nervous once you're pretty far up. The vertical ones without the angles are easier. Jaguar says I could see why it would feel scary further up, but why is the vertical easier than the angled? I feel like probably because you have to manage your, if I'm guessing correctly what Il's describing, it's probably about managing your grip and your footing. There might be some points where you have to, like, leap of faith a little bit. Kind of like what we've seen in this game. But I'm only speculating. Like, obviously I don't know what Il saw as harder. Yep. Okay. I was right. Oh, nice. Thingy. The little pillar. Are you seriously not gonna let me latch on? It's gotta be also a good workout. If I had a rock climbing gym nearby, I probably would. And I had the money, I'd consider joining. I feel like something like that would get me more motivated to work on my upper body more. Oh, that is a thing. That is 100% a thing. Okay. How do? Leap of faith! Swing. 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 I missed the grab, apparently. Merchants is back with tea. Welcome back, Merchants. Before I explore that, though, I need... to rappel down here, because this is totally something. what this is a fresco of. It almost looks like a giant bone in the rock. Though the ship's on the sand, so it looks like maybe when the water dried up. Now, how do I get back up? Oh, okay. Come on, before I run out of grip. Thank you. Oof. Alright. Made it past that. Yo, that sense of scale. And we have so much more to climb. Hello, letter. Hey, Owens, have you seen the latest posters? The ones that say, eat more salt to quench your thirst? Together, let's save water. Salt your food. Water safe today is water drink tomorrow. It made me think of you. They're taking it too far. We're supposed to drink less while they use up all the water in the Great Basin to water those sun-scorched fields of theirs. Yeah, I saw. Every little bit counts. Honestly, they have got no shame. It's always the same with them, but it's sure working out well for the store. I've never seen so many customers, even though most of the villages are already abandoned. I'm running low on pickleweed, heart salt, and rock salt. I'm even out of plain flakes, though they're pretty bland and not what I'd recommend. At this rate, I'm gonna have to start selling my personal stash. So, this kind of reminds me of, the fact that historically, salt was not a cheap thing. Like, most of us today think of salt as just something we sprinkle on our food, no problem. It's super cheap. You can buy it at any store. It's widely available. You can get different varieties of salt, like, and they're all relatively cheap, whether it be the Himalayan pink salt or, a kosher salt or what have you. And or Mediterranean sea salt, we have all the different varieties, right? But back in the day, salt was a big deal for hydration. Like, you had entire salt trade networks that existed. Especially in, like, the Sahara Desert area. Any place that's going to require that you sweat a lot is going to require you to have salt. And there's a part of me wondering what this climate change situation is going to do to our salt supply. Just something I'm considering. I also, the way they're describing the water with the crops reminds me a lot of the crisis that's happening on the west coast of the United States. Like, there's a huge issue with whether or not we should be devoting water to things like planting crops, especially water-intensive crops that are grown in California, for example, or if there should be some sort of regulation on what crops should be used to preserve water, as the rivers over there are kind of drying up because of overuse. Jaguar says, I do wonder why global studies don't emphasize the salt trade more in the kingdoms that we're associated with, because it's not European history. Like, Europe doesn't have that same historical necessity of salt as people in Africa and Western Asia. That isn't to say that the salt trade wasn't big enough for them to colonize and to take over. You know, it was financially lucrative for them to do so. But it's not the primary focus of why they would have conquered those regions and sought to colonize those regions. Also, this is totally a ship. Like a water-based vessel. That is designed to float. I mean, minus the hole that's in it. And it's kind of weird seeing that over this, like, dry, arid, rocky surface. You can even see another ship off in the distance. A few of them that are just on dried up sand. Like, this is what it would probably look like if all of our oceans instantly dried up. Like, all the ships that are out to sea would just end up on these massive land formations that were at the bottom of the ocean. And some of our continents would look like mountains. Kinda like this. Like, if you had a mountainous coastal region, I could see this being kind of what it would look like. I mean, it's exaggerated, but you know what I mean. Also, the clouds are up there. And we definitely can't say that African nations were important, rich, etc. Yeah, then there would have to be an acknowledgement also that all of Africa isn't just one group of people historically, and that there were different groups and different kingdoms that were vying for power over salt that existed well before European contact. Some of the same West African groups that, you know, ended up being dragged halfway across half of the world at a later point. So no, we can't talk about them having a history and a culture and all that. Not in schools. We wouldn't want that. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything. And Push forward. Guess we're going up. Is there something there? There is, I don't know how to get to it. So let me reset my road here. I can always rappel down to that if it's important. That's gonna dry up so quick. You know what? I don't even think I'm better off reaching for it again. I think I'm better off grabbing the ones that were in the shade. Come on. Well, we're leaving the tower. The village has been given a date, and I can't quite believe it. I still think about our dance. The last festival already seems so long ago. It was so nice to forget about all this for a sleep. I didn't realize it at the time, but I think at some point I'd given up. But then your laughter, the dizziness after that long waltz, the way you stepped on my feet, the way your cheeks glowed pink. I don't know how to ask you this, but want to come with me? Journey through life on the same pebble? I am sorry, I know it's short notice, but now I care enough to be afraid. Afraid of what I could miss out on if I don't send you this message. I hope you get it. Keely. Yeah, we are making some vertical distance here. Ooh, is this a secret? Tell me this is a secret. Or is this the way I was supposed to go? I was down there, wasn't I? Before I venture in there, I want to explore the other side a little bit. Now, it definitely looks like that's the main path. I think this is a secret area. I want to see something. Have I been down here? Or is this that little platform that I had, wondered... No, I have definitely not been down here, then. In this tunnel then. Oh. Is that a giant pushing a crab that's holding up the sky? Down there. Ooh, another letter. We make quite an odd team. Eccentrics, hardliners, optimists, turn with the tides. I've never seen such a different kind of people working towards a common goal. Well, sort of. I'm not so sure I'm on the same page as the others anymore. I've realized that the people around me have nets and harpoons, knives. They want to capture the ballasts. I was sure we'd set off on this adventure to prove they were real. They were going to study them, figure out how they were linked to the rain's disappearance, solve the mystery of the Piper. Now I hope those creatures only exist in stories because this expedition is starting to look like a hunting party. I feel so stupid for not seeing it before. Bianca. That's kind of disturbing, TBH. Okay, catching up with chat. Jaguar says, oh, since we are climbing up, should we discuss the recent billionaire stunt of sending notable women to space? We could also skip this topic. I was just annoyed by it because this guy was all, I'm gonna send these women up into space to point out what these notable women did. You'd use these women as a publicity stunt for his company. Yeah, well, one of them was married to him too, which is a whole other issue. Also doing something that is not great for the environment, and of course the media is paying more attention to what's her, to the singer's name for having a profound moment, rather than looking at the men who put them there in the first place, typical Substance style. If he really wanted to talk about women's contributions, he could have done it in a million other ways. To me, it was just a bunch of rich celebrity-esque women being promoted in order to create like a faux feminism, get some people to try to back him. None of the people who went up were actual astronauts, and I think it's a very different thing to have actual astronauts, people who are trained in this. There are women astronauts. If this was a celebration of women who had trained for this and studied this and done all the work that needed to go into it, it'd be one thing. This is just billionaire tourism. It has nothing to do with actual science or space exploration and everything to do with a bunch of egos. And you had a bunch of people go up into space for 4 minutes to do absolutely nothing. You know what? Raising pebbles was fun till I started doing it for a living. I think I've lost my way. You know me. I wasn't really thinking ahead when I took over the old farm. I couldn't just abandon the pebbles my parents cared for all their lives. Sure, I never dreamed of delivering the mail, but it kept the animals fed and my debts paid, and I kept my noggin above water, like they say around your parts. But since the villages have been uprooted, it's been so hard. Too few people on the cliffs and too much distance to cover. I'm wearing myself and my animals out, and I'm getting nothing but crumbs. I can't go on like this. I remember when we first met, that seemed like so long ago now. I'd run away from the farm, remember how mad my dad was. That was quite something. But I just couldn't deal with the sun anymore. Now look where I've ended up. I miss our belly laughs. I even miss the tunnels. Tommy, thanks for your letter. Things aren't any better here. I've made zero progress on my mending. I've spent ages working on this hideous piece of embroidery because I'd rather watch rocks erode. Were you able to sort through your parents' stuff like you wanted? The poor things never got to enjoy them. All they did was work. Is that what'll happen to us too? We could both decide to opt out. The world would keep on turning. Well, keep on not turning. You get the idea. Take care. Damn. I guess up there is the next target. Or maybe down there. So I'm kind of glad in hindsight that we ended on chapter 3. Chapter 3's been a long chapter. To have it broken up would have been kind of rough. Like, I don't know how much longer we have, but we've been on this chapter for 3 hours now. And yeah, there's been a few pauses and break and all that, but he could have had a gala celebrating women from all walks of life, with all the proceeds going to a charity that supports women. That's just one idea came up in 2 seconds. I'm sure his team of people could have come up with some other stuff. The problem is it's all for show. Like, they don't care about women. They're just trying to manipulate the narrative to make themselves look better. They're just billionaires doing billionaire things and being disconnected. You can't be a billionaire and a feminist, I'm sorry. He used them, yeah. But also, you know, they knew what it was about, or they had to know what it was about. How can I get... Can I actually climb those windows over there? Let's reset. I mean... I see your point. Who will say no to space? Oh, is there... Ah, there's... Is that ceiling holes? It is ceiling holes. There we go. And then I can... Repel... Wing... Climb... Cool. I'm up top. What did that get me? I don't get what's the deal is with parents and the ocean. It's all they talk about. We have to explore the Great Plain, go further, cross the oceanic ridges, find the ocean, blah blah blah. Fine, set sail for the desert if you want. But why should I have to come along too? You're getting on my nerves. Honestly, I'm kind of scared. I bet I'll get dizzy. Walking horizontally? Nope. No thanks, not for me. Oh, that's it, Nil? You're leaving? I wouldn't mind going off on an expedition instead of marinating in this whole place. It's so boring here. You have no idea. I can't take it anymore. If I have to roast, at least let me roast in the desert where things are happening. Plus, what if you found a spring? You'd be famous. I feel like this society, by necessity, skipped leg day. Just by living in a vertical space. Am I supposed to go up there, or am I supposed to go back that way? Explore up here, see if there's any letters or anything. The other sleep, Rose asked me to tell him a bedtime story. He's getting to be a big boy now, but I love it when I can still pretend he's little. I decided to tell him the tale of the long rain. I told him about the overflowing canals, high tide, the locks, and so on. But eventually he stopped me because he didn't understand. He didn't even know what rain was. I'm starting to doubt myself. We both agree that it's not just some tale our elders made up. It did exist, right? Hey, I think it did, yeah. But to be honest, I see where your kid's coming from. Water falling from the sky does sound pretty odd. I wouldn't be surprised if the old folks made it all up and are having a good laugh at us, all up there. So I'm gonna leave you all on a question, and I'm gonna step out for a second. I will be right back. But my question is, what kind of stories do you think they'll tell of our time? You know, in the post-climate apocalypse. Like, what things like rain being, strange and out there do you think will be, things people mention? But yeah, give me one sec, I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Just needed a few minutes. I'm back now. So, where are we headed to? Can we go up here? Doesn't really look like there's an up space here. Maybe up there, but, maybe. What was the question you asked before you left? So, like, in this game, they're saying that rain is like this mythical thing. Like, how could there possibly be rain? And I'm just wondering, in a post-apocalyptic or a world where climate change has reached its full impact, what kind of things do you foresee that people will tell, like, 100, 200 years from now about our times? Like, that are mythic. Like, we had enough water to cool computers or something. Like that, you know? They had huge swaths of rainforest. Damn. When you're telling the truth, you're telling the truth. If I write that down, it wants me to go up that way. Because I don't actually see a path up here. Transitional time between seasons. Have I been down on that platform down there? I mean, if you're gonna give me a relatively easy climb, take it. But that's where it stops being easy. Old stones, paintings gathering dust, and this wall that used to tell time, now rendered useless. These ruins are like my old lighthouse. I'm sure of it. They're reassuringly familiar, which is something I really needed. I thought I'd find answers in this climb, but I'm realizing I don't know what questions to ask. I think back to the Bianca I was just a few sleeps ago, so full of certainty. Small fry that I was back then. Now, as I write this, I wonder, why did I set off on this adventure? No answer, of course. Building watches in silence. I guess I'll have to keep climbing to find out what I'm looking for. But the clouds above us are still so small. I feel so far away from everything. Around me, my teammates snore, lost in the rise and fall of sleep. I wish I could close my eyes and rest too, but I can't stop my mind from wondering. What's the connection between the Piper and the ballasts? Arlo and Becca's legends don't say, but I think they're two sides of the same coin. The water in the clouds and the Piper's rain. I'm sure if I could just untangle this rigging, I could convince the group to lay down their weapons. Sleep's evading Met too. She's gazing out into the distance. The Great Plains seems even bigger from up here. I feel very small and lost, like a little shell clinging to the side of a cliff. Yeah, we still have a bit of a climb up ahead of us. Migration of birds and butterflies. Undisturbed migration. Gardens with local species and lawns. Luscious trees in my area are so confused by climate change. They bloom early and then the temperature drops again and the buds die, so the trees never fill out with leaves like they used to. You're all bringing up good ones. Oh, wow. Oh, hello. Something's flying up there. Chapter 4, Convergence. I really appreciate that this game gives a sense of wonder without, like, being weirdly anxiety-inducing. I completely agree with you there. I don't think there's any going back. So, hopefully we got everything. I can check if, it looks like all the letters are good. Looks like Bianca's stuff is good. looks like I've got stuff here. So I don't know, it doesn't look like I'm missing anything that I can visibly tell. Uh, I'm debating about calling it here though, because we have a similar situation to last time. I'm gonna check to see how long chapter 4 is. Because I don't want to rush through or split up chapter 4. Maybe just get up this past this initial way and see. Just trying to see if there's any other pathways there. I'm actually having a lot of trouble seeing in this area. Oh, letter. Service memo. The old canal's finally clean, and locks 4 to 7 have been serviced. In all my time as a water surveyor, I've never seen the water level this low, but at least I was able to give the canal a good clean. Let's just say it was about time. Yuck, yuck, yuck. I've never been this filthy in my entire life. Off the clock for this sleep. Until next time, Ida. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do this full chapter. Let me get to a stable spot, and then we'll call the stream there. I also don't want to leave it, like, in this cave. It is really dark on my screen. I hope the stream is picking it up better than my monitor looks right now, TBH. I'm about to turn the gamma up a little bit. See if that helps. Oh, that's a cool mechanic. Actually, it's seeming like this whole chapter is going to be in this cave. I don't know. Let me get to the next spot where it's auto saves, and then maybe we wrap it up there. This is all, like, stuff that would be underwater. Like, there's coral here. Okay, that saved the game. We can call it here then. Cyrus says this looks majestic. Bioluminescence. Are those blue crystals what I think it is? Dune theme plays in the background. No, I don't know what they are, but this area is really pretty. Just hard to see. But, I think we definitely call it quits here. And next time we will continue with Chapter 4. Maybe we'll beat the game. And, hopefully have some more good conversations like today. Y'all have a good one. Thanks for joining. And with that said, my name is Anarchist Terra. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now. Hello, Jorn. Sorry you missed the end. Thanks for joining. Have a good one.